the members' desire to prohibit onshore hydraulic fracturing. However, this is only one element within the much broader and complex policy area of petroleum licensing. As members debate this bill today, I would ask that they reflect on the steps taken and the progress made by my department in formulating policy proposals on the future of all onshore petroleum activities in Northern Ireland. Recognising the changing strategic policy context in relation to energy supply, carbon emissions and climate change, my department has recently undertaken a review of our current petroleum licensing regime. An important step in that review was the completion of independent, Northern Ireland-specific research on the economic, environmental and social impacts of petroleum exploration and development activity. My officials have fully considered the research findings along with other international studies, and I can confirm that my department's policy review has now concluded. I have also considered this complex policy area carefully and given due consideration to the expert advice received. As this is a cross-cutting and controversial policy area, on the 31st of January, I circulated a paper to executive colleagues outlining the position not just on fracking, but on all onshore petroleum licensing activity. My paper recommended the executive agree a preferred policy option of a moratorium on all forms of exploration and extraction of oil and gas, to be followed by the introduction of a legislative ban. This would not only bring Northern Ireland in line with the rest of the United Kingdom on the issue of fracking, but go further by legislating for all other types of petroleum exploration or extraction. The position of my party is therefore clear, both now and in any future executive. And of course, my proposed way forward will now require the agreement of a future executive, following which the preferred option will be subject to a public consultation. I think it is important, therefore, for members to consider the bill before them in the context of these developments, as well as understanding the context of petroleum licensing in Northern Ireland, presuming, of course, that the other parties on the executive share my view. Because to date, only the Finance Minister responded to my paper. The ministers from the SDLP, the Alliance and the UUP have not. And the question for those other parties to answer is why they did not respond. But it may be useful to provide some general context for this evening's debate. Onshore exploration for petroleum in Northern Ireland has been taking place on a small scale since the Petroleum Production Act Northern Ireland was introduced in 1964. Over that time, although small amounts of oil and gas have been found, no commercial extraction has ever taken place. Companies explore for and seek to extract both conventional hydrocarbons and unconventional hydrocarbons. Conventional hydrocarbons are found within porous rocks and are easily accessed by vertical wells and standard production techniques. Unconventional hydrocarbons, in contrast, are found in less porous rocks, such as shale, and are less easy to access. This is when techniques such as long horizontal drilling combined with high-volume hydraulic fracturing are used. Now, this bill is focused solely on one testing and production technique, the use of fracking to access hydrocarbons in shale. There are currently no petroleum licences in Northern Ireland. The last active licence was relinquished on the 28th of April 2020. Members will also be aware that my department is currently considering 2 petroleum licences applications. Both applications were subject to a public consultation process, which closed in July 2019. My department received in excess of 5,700 responses, which were published at the end of October 2019. PLA1/16, made by EHA Exploration Limited, proposes exploring for oil and gas in the porous sandstones in the area to the south and east of Lough Neagh, using conventional drilling techniques. PLA2/16, made by Tamboran Resources UK Limited, proposes exploring for gas in County Fermanagh. Initially, this application had sought approval for the use of high-volume hydraulic fracturing. However, Tamboran subsequently made a request to revise its application in March 2020. This proposed revision will remove the need for fracking. In summary, therefore, across Northern Ireland at this point in time, we have no petroleum licences in place, and neither of the two existing applications currently propose the application of high-volume hydraulic fracturing. I have repeatedly stated that decisions on both licence applications will be made by an executive as a whole, following agreement of Northern Ireland's future petroleum licensing policy, informed by my department's policy review. I reiterate this commitment today and sincerely hope that those responsible for misinformation on social media are listening. Now, the number and range of concerns raised in the responses to my department's consultations on the two applications brought into sharp focus the urgent need to review and update Northern Ireland's petroleum licensing policy. On this basis, my officials commenced a review in late 2019 in accordance with the Executive's Policy Development Toolkit of Northern Ireland's current onshore petroleum licensing system.